I remember another time he used the word exfoliate in a sentence, and I gave him a hard time about that. I said, wait a minute. Like, he had moved on. I said, wait a minute. Did you just use exfoliate in a sentence with me? Don't do that again. But like, I've given Razi a hard time, and I remember I sent him pictures of me hiking, and he said, wait a minute, you eating sushi and you hiking now? welcome to the other side.
What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I'm Tavares Ferguson, aka Ferg, join my co-host Buff and Razi. Fellas, tell them what's on your minds.
It wasn't but a few short months ago, I think Razio was praising HBOMax. And at the time I was like, another streaming service, all they're gonna do is show movies that HBO already have. Man, HBOMax has been coming with it. And the convenience of getting a movie that's released in the theater in your house, that is dope, man. And I got to give it props, man. I've been enjoying HBOMax. I just watched the Tina Turner documentary. I have to admit, the most I knew about Tina Turner was from the movie, for the most part.
What's Love Got to Do with it?
Yeah, that's the most I knew about it. And What's Love Got to Do with it so good, by the way, sidebar, that every once in a while, I have to remind myself that Ike Turner is not Lawrence Fishburne. Like, whenever I see real pictures of Ike Turner, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's Ike, not Lawrence. But it's a good documentary. It's sad though, man. It's not just the physical, verbal, and mental abuse she went through with him. Like, it's still, we talked about love last week. She was saying she's never been in a loving relationship, and she's never felt love like that. And just to hear everything she went through with him, and just after that, like, she was never really able to escape his shadow. She became a mega star, but she always got questions about him. When he would get in trouble, they're asking about him. Like, she's her own star now, and they're still asking about him. And so she is, let the media, depending on the media narrative, she has been defined by him in a certain extent. Like, when you think Tina, you think, oh yeah, she used to get beat by Ike and stuff like that. So very tough. If you're like me and you've only seen What's Love Got to Do with it and heard a couple of her songs, I highly recommend the documentary. I enjoyed it. Very good stuff, man. So, but overall, HBOMax has been coming with it. Justice League came out a couple of weeks ago. King Kong Godzilla is coming out. So it's a great streaming app to have right now.
Yeah, you got to steal my thunder with the Kong versus Godzilla. It's Godzilla. Godzilla. That's it, man. I'm excited for it. It dropped today.
That was racist, cool. Razi. That was racist.
No, that's how it sounds.
You did. Yeah. I didn't catch that.
It's a racist caricature. That's exactly how they sounded, though. It's like, I'm saying exactly what they did. But anyway, yeah, I'm super excited for it. I like the universal kind of the Kong, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, all those. That entire universe is pretty dope in itself, and it looks really cool. It dropped today. I didn't get a chance to watch it today because I gotta wait. Ollie wants to watch it with me, so I got to watch it probably this weekend sometime. But, man, I'm excited for it. I really, really, really want to see it. So we'll let you guys know what we find out and how we feel about it next week. Only thing I got, man, is the exhaustion. I don't have any, mass shootings to report on, but what we do have is the Chauvin trial is happening, and I made sure to say the Chauvin trial and not the Eric Garner trial, because I think everybody's trying to say
George Floyd.
Yeah, I'm sorry, George Floyd. God, so many of them. But yes, the George Floyd trial. Everybody's trying to say, they're calling it the George Floyd trial. George Floyd is not on trial. And so I'm being very particular about saying it's the Chauvin trial because he is the one that's on trial. But just watching some of the clips, I cannot watch the whole thing because it is so disheartening. It is, the defense attorney just pisses you off for no reason. Like, and I get it, he's doing his job, but at the same time, it's like, he's lying. And when you have even the judge is saying, hey, don't question him, don't add to your answers, just answer his questions. He's okay to ask leading questions, and you just got to answer the questions how he led you to him. I'm like, that's not what I've understood of how courts work. But the judge literally told one of the people on the stand that. And so it's little stuff like that, man. It's just making me so mad with this trial. And I'm so scared that he's going to get off. I'm scared, not just because it's not the right thing. I'm scared because of the fallout. You saw, the reaction from the George Floyd's actual death. So think about the Rodney King and when that happened and when they got off and everything. I really feel like it's going to be a powder keg. And if he does get off, it's going to be some rioting and looting, and it's just going to add and fuel to that fire from the right of, oh, look, they're these animals and all of that stuff they like to call us when we don't get our way, but it's okay for them to go riot and everything when, I don't know, their sports team wins. That's just revelry. But I'm sick and tired of it, man. I'm tired again this week because of it, but just had to get it off my chest, man.
Oh yeah. I watch it in spurts because I can't. I think the prosecutors are doing a good job so far. I'm hoping they're studying and learning from previous trials. You said it's the Chauvin trial. I think it's a trial of America. And like you, I'm scared that he's going to get off. I feel like we gave you niggas Biden is the response. So you can't have Biden and Chauvin. You can't have Biden and Chauvin too. Like they're I don't think they want to give us that. I mean, it hurts my heart when I was, especially yesterday, and I'm only watched so much today. But yesterday when they were interviewing the young girls, so the first two, it was just hard to listen, especially when, the girl, one was 9 and she was just scared and she just understood it wasn't right. And then Darlena, I'm not even gonna try to act like I can. The one that was 18, and when she just said it, she laid up at night thinking about that. That could have been my father. That could have been my brother. That could have been my uncle. That could have been my. And like, man, I finished that thought process. That could have. But even thinking that it could be me, it's the fact that the young lady was saying, let me think of, that could be my daughter or someone else I love sitting on a jury stand defending me or defending someone else I know and love. Like, that's the world we live in. But we feel sorry for George Floyd and his murder, but also the fact that the turmoil that it caused in the community, these people will never be the same. This will stick with them for the rest of their life. Even the gentleman that got interviewed today or was on the stand today got cross-examined. He recorded it and then deleted it that same night for this reason. He didn't want to have to talk too much. He didn't want to have to show that tape. He didn't want to have to share that with others because he knew it was coming. So fingers crossed. I need to figure out whatever they're going to announce. I will be on PTO because I don't. That day, if it ain't right, I don't want to deal with it. Secondly, what about KD and Michael Rappaport?
Oh, yeah. His misogynist and what was it? It was something else. Comments. Homophobic, yeah. He has homophobic and misogynist comments. It's almost that teeter because it teetered on the line. Well, no, it's not teetered on the line, but it's almost socially acceptable because of the way he used it. He uses I think he said he called him faggot and all this stuff. Like, it was just stuff like that, and it wasn't. I think his use of it was just in the general term of just being. I want to talk down on you, and just it's crazy to realize how quick somebody's to slip up and say those things that we're trying to outlaw get past. So. Very interested to see how that turns out for KD.
Fill me in real quick. Who are we talking? I know Michael Rappaport. KD as in Kevin
Durant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they were beefing over something, and Kevin Durant just went at Michael Rappaport hard, and he screenshotted it and just sent it out. We don't have all the I don't remember all the context of the text. I saw it today in passing, but on SportsCenter trying to work. But it was basically the fact that, from what I can see, because a lot of it was blocked out and blacked out because they didn't want to.
He's going to be suspended and fined.
Oh, he's definitely suspended. And the question is, how does he?
They hit Kobe with that one.
It's like, how do you?
Same word.
Yeah. It's like, how do you react? Like, how does he respond? It's, do you stay quiet, or do you just say, you know what? I had a poor choice of words. When I'm angry, I go back to the misogynistic, homophobic language and mindset that I was used to growing up. It's not an excuse, but it's just how,
Maybe his sugar was low.
Maybe his sugar was low.
That's true. You never know.
Maybe
you never know, bro.
Was low. What time of day was it? Was he after a game?
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Just more
that man some orange juice. All right. Yeah, get that man some OJ, man.
But that's all I got, fellas. Crazy week, ready for Good Friday and hopefully a long weekend. Nice, relaxing weekend. I get my last shot Friday. So hopefully this weekend goes well. Anything else?
Now let's jump into it.
Do it, man.
All right. Oh, you Buff mentioned the Justice League. Razi, we didn't get you mentioned this 6-7 months ago. You gotta give us your critique, bro. Like you brought it up, so I want to give you the spotlight.
All right, cool. Well, alert. It was good. It wasn't great by any means, but it was a good movie. I think too many people are just jumping on the Snyderverse. It does reset the DC universe pretty well. I think they really did Cyborg justice in this one. And I can see why the actor was really pushing against the Josh Whedon's version. But to Whedon's kind of defense on it, there was no way that Snyder would have been able to cut that 4-hour movie down to even a 2-hour movie and make it make sense. He would have had to cut that into 2. It would have had to be some type of Avenger Endgame type thing going on with it.
It wasn't enough action to turn into 2 movies.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. It's like if you broke it into 2, there wasn't a good spot to break it into and make it make sense. It had to be that 4 hours, and there's really no way to cut it down to be 2, other than what Josh Whedon did is just chop in the things that advance the plot. And that's the only thing that you could really show. So I see why Whedon gets such a bad rap on what he had to do, because he had to try to fix this and make it a movie, movie length, an hour or 90 minutes, or maybe 2 hours. I think the original Justice League was like an hour 40 or something like that. So it was a longer version, but at the same time, there's really no way to be able to do that, what Snyder did in that hour and 90 minutes or, hour and 40 minutes. So I can give Whedon a little bit of kind of relief on his side, but yeah, it was good for what it needed to be. It did kind of right the ship a little bit. The things that Snyder did with it was just really fan service, though. It was like, hey, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you this. Some of the stuff was just extra. It really didn't make sense to really advance the plot, but it fleshed out everything. It would have been better served as a miniseries. I think he actually has it in chapters in there, and so it would have made sense to actually release it as chapters on not Disney Plus, but HBOMax or something. It would have made more sense there. So truthfully, trying to do that as a big budget movie didn't make sense. But overall, it was a good movie, man. It's not one that I'd watch over and over and over like Endgame or anything, just because it wasn't there wasn't a shock effect enough that like build up like, oh my God, I got to watch this again. So it was good for what it was, but I don't think it's going to go down as like this classic movie or this classic action movie.
And that's Warner Brothers' fault. Warner Brothers, DC, all who involved, if their goal was to try to capture the attention like Marvel fans with Marvel movies, then it's impossible for Snyder, or anyone to have done it in one movie. Marvel did that over 10 years, over 20 plus movies. They tried to fit it all in one movie. They fit it in Batman versus Superman with some email clicks. And then all of a sudden we got these new characters on the next movie. That's not how you do it if you're trying to do the same thing Marvel was. So
yeah. I mean, it was fan service. You felt like, oh, that answers that. That answers that. But it was kind of like, even with the Aquaman scene where he met, I forgot his mentor, or they introduced his mentor, William Dafoe's character. It's kind of like, yeah, if this came out before Aquaman, great. Post Aquaman, pointless. Nothing about that gave me any additional value to the film.
Right. Same thing with Flash and Iris, right? When he saved Iris, it's like, it was cool. It was, I mean, seeing him run, mess up the concrete and everything, going super slow mo. That was his time to shine. But they could have cut it out, and we wouldn't have missed it. Like it didn't really add anything.
When I saw that, I got excited to think, okay, this is going to be a different turn. They introduced Iris in here, and it's like, okay, she's not coming back. He broke a glass, with some dogs, and messed up a really nice car, and did a creepy scene where he touched her hair. But outside of that, go back and watch that. Like, there's a major accident going on with a 18-wheeler, and he stops and brushes her hair out of her face so he can look at her face. It's kind of like, yeah, bruh, you might have caught a case.
Hey, I'm not the biggest Lois Lane fan, but they better be glad she showed up, because Superman was ready for all the smoke.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what? He definitely was. Not the opening scene, but the scene where they were actually fighting Steppenwolf. No, actually Darkseid. I like they brought Darkseid in. That whole battle scene where they had the lanterns and Ares and Hercules, Zeus, was it?
Yeah.
As well as the introduction of the Green Lantern Corps, spin something off, and the Martian Manhunter. So I thought that was all dope. And the Flash wasn't extremely, like, that first movie, the Flash was a yeah, like he was just like scared of everything. He still was kind of antsy, but he was just, I mean, he saved the day at the end of the day. So hopefully we didn't spoil it for anybody.
Oh yeah, we definitely should have said spoiler alert.
Razi, do your magic.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. All right, let's do it.
All right. Where's Sophie at? She's in bed.
I told her she can stay up for her joke. So let me go grab her, and then I'm gonna put her to bed right after.
Okay.
Well, look who it is.
It's Sophie.
Hey, Sophie. We're gonna get you an intro.
Hello.
Hey, tell your dad you need a Three Brothers shirt. You need a little Three Brothers shirt.
I would.
Three brothers, little sister.
I would tell him.
All right, cool. What you got for us?
A joke. And people don't think grass be wet in the morning, but it do.
See what I mean? Oh man.
Still a head nod, but it do. All right, Sophie, I like that one. You didn't even give me yeah.
Okay, bye.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, we're back. Sophie had a great question. I mean, a great joke. I laughed. I would have got that one though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I was looking at this post the other day, and it made me think of you, Razi. And also something I kind of grew up with with myself a little bit, because people said sometimes I acted white, or I talked like a white guy, or all that good stuff that we hear Mobile, Alabama. It says, I don't understand why some black people are so quick to strip alternatives and quirky black kids of their blackness, but rush to hand out honorary black cards to non-black folks.
Preach.
Wow.
So I think we always say this, black is not a monolith, like we're deeper than that, but why are we so hell bent? Because we talk about diversity a lot on the show. So hell bent making black people this same person. Like you have to be, it's a certain level of coolness or whatever it is that you have to display to be black.
This too is because of slavery.
It's true though. It's true.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Razi.
Yeah, it really comes down to the division that has been sown in us that if you don't conform and act a certain way, then you're not black. Like, you're a house nigga. You're not. So it really comes down to we have been taught historically that black people act this way, and it was also a coping mechanism. So not just slavery, but it was Jim Crow too, right? If you didn't act this way, then you might end up talking too white, and you might get lynched for that. You might end up, going in and trying to do something that you have no business doing, and get the police called on you. I mean, you whistle at a white lady and get, lynched. So it's one of those things that you had to conform, and that's been drilled in us. So anything outside of that norm and what we see as blackness, we've been taught that we got to reel that other person back in. So, or we got to disassociate with them so that we don't get in trouble too. There was a study about monkeys. They put them in a cage, gave them a ladder, and put some bananas at the top of the ladder. And
you gonna go from talking about black people to monkeys?
Yes, but it was the experiment. But it's what happened was every time the monkey would try to climb up to get the banana, they would spray everybody down, all the monkeys down with a hose, right? And knock them off and not let them get the bananas. And so this happened until eventually when one of the monkeys started climbing the ladder, the other monkeys would beat that monkey up because they didn't want to get sprayed down by the hose, right? And so the natural progression of that study was they started pulling one monkey out and putting a new monkey in that had never gone through the hose thing, and they never had to hose that monkey down. When it tried to climb, the other monkeys would beat him up. And he would stop going up the ladder. And if they started kept replacing, to eventually it was all new monkeys inside of the cage. And they were still beating up the monkey that went up the ladder to get the bananas. And none of them knew why. None of them ever had been hosed down to stop them from going to get the banana. That's really what we're dealing with here. It's like we have been trained by generations of you have to conform. And so now at this point, if you don't conform, you're not black. We can't bring that. And the whole bringing whiteness in is the bringing in the credibility of a white person in with us. So, see, our blackness is cool. So now we can reinforce and reaffirm our coolness or our goodness by associating with that white person. So that's why we're quick to do that part of it. We will associate with that white person because we can associate with them on a higher level if we bring them in and let them co-opt our blackness. We invite them into the cookout, but we still have to disassociate from those black people that aren't black enough in our mind. And so that's the whole, scientific piece of it. But really, I just think that, we're assholes. And we just like, anything that's different, and that's just human nature too. Anything that's different, we're gonna push away anyway.
Well, Rob, with you're a smart motherfucker.
we know what the opening quote of the show is gonna be. That little monkey story right there.
So
Razi said everything that I was going to say.
I want to back that up. So it's funny. That's why I always rocks with you, because I saw that before as well. It's called the 5 Monkeys experiment. So people go look it up. It's an excellent little write up on it. Just Google 5 Monkeys experiment, but it's true. But what you were saying, and Bub can hit on this since you said Razi said and everything. We're giving white people this pass, or others, non-blacks. That was the term they used, non-blacks. This pass, but what are the actions they're usually doing that we're giving that we're inviting them to the picnic, or we're giving a pass for he acts black because it's so that's something I always look at. Like, we're giving people passes for a lot of that doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's necessarily giving them passes as much as what it is it's us claiming whatever that is, that coolness that they're doing, right? That cool factor. So it's a way for us to maintain that as a black cultural thing instead of letting them co-opt it. So, or appropriate it. So it's a little bit of that too. It's holding on to no, you know, this dance style, or this artistic style, or this way of speaking is inherently black. It is our culture, and so by us inviting you in, we're saying you can use it, but it's still ours. So don't get it twisted. And so I think it's a little bit of that too, of us just trying to hold on to what we have as our culture and making sure that they don't take it like they did rock and roll and jazz and all the other art forms and all the other things and popular culture that they've co-opted and stolen, basically by just us not being able to say, yep, that's ours. You're welcome to use it, but just remember it's ours.
We praise white people too easily. I mean, we invite other races to the cookout because they know a couple of lyrics to a black song, or they can do a certain dance move, or they may like some of the clothes we wear, and they get invited to the cookout. Or it's just it's everything you said, Razi, plus just, and I think you even touched on this too. We just like that proximity to whiteness, and if they're doing something that we typically do, then, hey, oh, wow, they think we're cool. So therefore, let us go embrace them. Let's invite them to the cookout. It's crazy. And I just like the whole question on how easily we dismiss one of our own and easily embrace other cultures and races. So
I'll deal with that personally.
I remember some of that with you, Ferg, at Phillips. I actually remember some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did. I mean, I was the anime, watching Magic card playing like black kid. So I'm like the true black nerd, blurred, as we like to call ourselves these days. So I'm one of those OG blurs, and yeah, I definitely got that. I mean, Buff kind of jokes with me even to today about that, like just being like the super nerdy. So it's a difference of being ostracized for it. I could code switch well enough that I could have my times that I did that, and I still could sit and listen to DMX and rap No Limit with y'all and get my black card, right? Like, I knew that part of it well enough that I could still have my quirkiness to me. There's kids that couldn't do that. There were black kids that just they were quirky, and I could hang with them and we'd play Magic the Gathering or a Dungeons and Dragons, or talk about video games and all of that stuff, or comic books. We talk about that, and then I can come back over here and hang with y'all. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, you can't come over here with us because you can't really assimilate on this side. You can't code switch. So yes, I had my nerd friends, and then I had, my cool friends, and they really couldn't associate with each other. But I think another part of that though is that's okay. I think this generation, my kids and our kids, are starting to see that that's fine, that I don't hang with the cool kids or what we call the cool kids. if I have my 3 or 4 friends that we hang with and we're cool with, that's fine. That's my circle. That's my group, and we have fun. I even got to the point where, you know, you hear the phrase socially awkward. Like, I try not to use that word because you're not socially awkward. You're not acclimated to that social norm. You know, you are perfectly fine when y'all are kind of sitting at the table talking about Pokemon, laughing and joking. You're fine. You can talk in that realm as soon as you're around people that really know you and talk about you or about what you're interested in. You're totally fine. It's just when you get into an area or into a group that's talking about something that you're not interested in, yes, you're awkward because you just don't know how to navigate in that. But I don't call that socially awkward just because you can't do that.
As a Black person that's given other Black people a hard time, like Razi, over the years, a lot of times it's ignorance on why we do that. I got a buddy, Gus, who, if you ever meet him, the number one thing he'll tell you is that his greatest triumph is that he got me to start liking and eating sushi, because I saw him in the break room one day. He was eating sushi with chopsticks, and I was like, who the F you think you are in here eating sushi with chopsticks? And I remember another time he used the word exfoliate in a sentence, and I gave him a hard time about that. I said, wait a minute. Like, he had moved on. I said, wait a minute. Did you just use exfoliate in a sentence with me? Don't do that again. But like, I've given Razi a hard time, and I remember I sent him pictures of me hiking, and he said, wait a minute, you eating sushi and you hiking now? welcome to the other side. But, you know, a lot of it is ignorance. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know, a lot of times you will talk down on it, and it leads to that, he isn't Black or they aren't Black type thing too.
Yeah. My biggest accomplishment with you was when you started, like, actually buying comic books. When you bought that Batman graphic novel, I was like, I got him. Yeah,
man. Yeah.
I think you were able to, I guess, navigate between both worlds. You said code switch. I don't know if it was just code switch or it was just there's a duality to you. Like, you weren't. To me, sometimes code switching is I have to be fake for this. Like, I really don't like comics, but my friends like comics, so I'm being into comics. But it's like, I like comics and I like ratchet music too. So, you know, you don't like ratchet music, so I'm gonna go over here with the ratchet music liking people for now. So, Byron, you're absolutely right. When I moved to Mobile, it was a culture shock to me. I moved the beginning, end of my fifth grade summer. Well, my fifth grade summer going into sixth grade. And my first probably month of school, I was at Booker T, bruh. If I was in a Ferguson, I might not be here today. It was just a cult. I had never been around that many Black people, but I felt like I was cool. I was always cool being me. I was a cool kid my whole life until I got to Booker T. And then I got a little circle around there, and then I moved to Phillips, and I was just used to being in a circle where it was just multicultural. And Phillips was more like that. And so I would just talk to whoever was in my class. And even at Phillips, we by eighth grade, I was with all the Black kids. Probably sixth grade, I think sixth grade, I was one of the only Black kids invited to somebody's last day of school party, you know. And I know people talk about me, but I never really cared like that. But it's so many people who don't get past that. And what really made this question stand out to me, because you guys hit on it perfectly, was the Procter & Gamble Widen Your View commercial that you sent to us, Razi. Mm-hmm. People, please take a look at that. We'll actually post that link on our webpage or on our Facebook group. But it was kind of the reverse, where, you know, we're tired of people looking at us as this monolith, like, accept us as who we are. There's more to us. You know, I can have dreads. I can be out here and still be a father. You know, just because you see a woman there was a perfect scene where you see this woman standing on the corner, I think, bunch of kids and a bag of groceries, and you know, you can think so many things like, oh, she's a single mother, or she's struggling, or any of that stuff. And basically, she was waiting on her husband to pull up the minivan. You know, we want people to look at us and accept us on this side for being this Afrocentric, I'm black, love me the way I am. But yet and still, I feel like those same people that say that want the blurs. So it's be happy who you are. For one, these people out here don't care who you are. To them, you still black in America. We need less to divide us. And just, I think once we can start accepting who we are, we can go a lot further on all aspects. Not having to code switch because we're too black, because we fight that too much. We fight like I can't be too black, but then we have fighting that I'm not black enough. But yet and still, we don't care how white somebody is, we'll still invite them to the picnic if they do one black thing, and that's air quotes black thing. So I enjoy that question, fellas. I'm done. Anything else you guys want to hit on that?
I will say one thing though. I do think when we talk about somebody's not black or whatever, it's in the context of you ain't black and I might push you to the side, but it's that whole family thing of I can talk about you, but if that little black kid gets if some white kid messes with that black kid, it's still kind of family from what I've seen. Like I've seen plenty of times where the cool black kid kind of takes up for the nerdy black kid if somebody comes at them on some racist type stuff. Like I've seen that happen where
but they still protect their
blackness.
But they don't protect them from the other black kids picking on them.
Yeah, that's true.
So Karen can't mess with her, but Kawana can. So do we know any Kawanas? So
do.
Yeah, we actually do.
Oh yeah. Love you. But no, but it's just funny that way, because I was never picked on, and there's so many people that couldn't navigate it that I've seen. There was people I knew that I was cool with that didn't navigate it and they got left behind. Razi, you left some of your friends behind.
Yeah. But how we talked about, you outgrow them. I mean, it's not that you intentionally leave them behind. Y'all grow apart.
Oh, you thought you were too cool for them.
Nah. I never did I ever think I was too cool for anybody because of the simple fact that I didn't think deep down, I never thought I was cool. Like I said, I felt like I could switch and I could navigate, but I never felt like I was one of the cool kids. So, it was just one of those things. I thought highly of myself, like where I was going, but never did I think that I was better than anybody else, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So
who's up next?
But yeah, I want to go next because we kind of rolled into my question. Just talking about bullying in general, but I want to go a little deeper into cyberbullying. I was watching Hip Hop Uncovered because Byron brought it up and advised it, and it was really, really good. And the last episode, they were generally talking about how the old school did things a little differently, and now that new school with the videos and everybody's all in there. And a line from Haitian Jack just really got me.
He ain't ready to accept this new school.
He is not. Haitian Jack was like, look, the only reason why people cyberbullying because ain't nobody called them on their stuff. Like he's like they need to do like what we've started to see is people actually start beef on social media and people are actually getting killed over social media beef and stuff like that. And he's like, he supports that. He's like, people need to call these cyber bullies out. These folks, these keyboard warriors out on, you can say it now, but let me find you. And they need to go out and find it. And when people start seeing that, you can't hide behind that keyboard with this stuff, then they'll stop doing it. And, we've seen that with people doxing. I don't know if you guys have heard that term or not, but doxing is basically when you you share people's private information, like their name, address, and everything like that when they do things on the internet or anonymously or something like that. They do it with big movie stars and stuff. They'll share like their phone number, their personal phone number or their personal address or whatever, and they want people to go and kind of mess with them and stuff like that. So, but Haitian Jack is like supporting that. And my question to you guys is, how do you think
he's supporting fighting against cyberbullying, or he's supporting cyberbullying?
Haitian Jack is supporting going to put them hands on and putting that smoke on them folks on the cyberbullying. So yes, he is for stopping cyberbullying, but his approach is a little gangster.
Traditional bullying.
So that's his thing. But Haitian Jack literally shot somebody for bullying him or saying something wrong. He was like, he just shot the guy. So that's his mentality. But I want your guys' thoughts on how to address cyberbullying. How you're gonna, if your kids got cyberbullied or something like that. Do you agree with him that we need to find that person and we need to talk to him man to man, or turn it off? Like how are you going to handle cyberbullying with your kids?
That's tough as far as with my kids. I know how for me how I handle it. You can't get into it back and forth with anybody on social media or the internet because, like you say, most of the time they're anonymous. So, like if it's somebody anonymous, I'm not going to pretty much engage with them anyway. If it's someone I know and I know I'm going to see them, then we can just handle it that way. There's no sense in going back and forth on the Blue app or anything like that. For my kid though, I don't know because I'm still like, how does cyberbullying even work? Like, are they just spreading gossip? Like, they getting everybody to gang up on them, and are they picking on them at school? Like, how does it even exactly work, man?
So you got to think with us, our circles. For one, we're way more. Well, most of us are more emotionally mature, so it doesn't bother us as much, and our circles are smaller. These kids have to go to school with 500, 600 other kids saying the same thing about them, and you're not emotionally secure. You're not, we're still adults and some of us aren't secure enough. We're still trying to impress people. So you have
there's
people
laws on the books, right? There's laws in the book against that, right?
Yeah, but once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah. And the thing is, somebody has to report it. Like, you got to, your child has to come forward and tell you and that type of thing. And a lot of times, a lot of kids don't have that support from their families to say, hey, I'm being bullied and I want help. A lot of them are going to, like Ferg said, they're not emotionally intelligent. They don't make the best choices. They may not even tell you that they're being bullied, and they start shutting down and things like that. And when you ask how it happens, it's little stuff like, how, when you were at school and somebody be like, oh, you ugly, or oh, that fit sucks. But it's like one kid, maybe two, their clique might say it to you. With cyberbullying, you're talking hundreds of people talking about every time you put a post up, every time you put a picture up on Instagram or whatever, folks are right there on it, like commenting, laughing at it, talking about you and everything, tagging other people. They come in and laugh at your picture.
So would a solution be just tell them to get out? You get them off of social media, and if it translates to at school action, that I know how to handle, because if I gotta fight 500 different parents, I will. But if it's just on social media, get off social media. If it's translating to at school action where they're physically and verbally taunting her, I have to think I can work with the school to address that. But let me know if I'm wrong.
Because I think we're thinking potentially too deep because of how quick it happens. So I would say one of my goals in life is never to become a meme. We have the greatest basketball player of all time who is a freaking meme. He is a joke to some people. So imagine getting caught in an awkward position. You turn around at the wrong time, you look crazy, and you're cross-eyed and they take a picture of you, and now they share that with the school. And you're walking by and they're laughing and pointing. Like, our kids don't even have to have a social media presence. And so when I was talking to some of my mentees, they're on social media so much. They got to make sure they're still good. You got to make them still good in the streets, because all it takes is a minute for you to look up and all of a sudden you're the new meme around them. You get in a fight. If you lose, that everybody in the school is going to see that fight. Everybody in the city, that stuff goes on World Star, and now it has 1 million views.
Yeah,
those are the things these kids are dealing with.
Yeah, and when you talk about, just bring them off of social media, that further ostracizes them, and so now they feel even more alone and unloved and unwanted, and they can't interact and everything like that. So while we as adults can probably say, I'm just going to turn it off, I'm going to get off, I'm not going to look at the comments or whatever, right? Kids don't think like that, because they are looking for that kind of support, and they want to fit in. That's kind of, as you grow up, you try to look for, how do I fit in? How do I get friends and everything? They're already feeling awkward. Their bodies are awkward. They're growing and, changing and all of that. And then you got somebody laughing at them because, like Ferg said, they turned around wrong and they had a booger in their nose. Boom, you're a meme. And now everybody's on you. But then you have that constant cyberbullying where nothing even was wrong with you. It wasn't that you became a meme. It just literally was, the mean girls don't like you, and they come at you every time you post something. They're on your comments, and you try to block them. And what do? They go to their friends and they make up fake accounts and all this and that. And so it's hard. I mean, it's you could, back in the day when we were there, you could avoid that person. You really could avoid that person and still have a life. Worst case scenario, you had to kind of avoid that person for the 8 hours that you were in school, but then you can go and have your normal life outside of it. These kids have to deal with it 24/7, so sun up to sundown. So
let's be real. High school, how have looked circa 1997, 98, 99, when there were certain people as young kids that didn't like us, that had a problem with the individuals or us as a group, that could have definitely turned into some easy cyberbullying.
Mm-hmm.
How does that end? It was hard enough navigating that scene and still try to get an education and still, remain calm, cool, and collective. By the time you get home, you did 50 messages about you. Somebody took a picture of you in class and made a whole post.
So what's the solution, fellas?
I don't know if there's a solution. I think for me, with my kids,
what would be the plan of action? What would be the plan
for me? I'm trying to be preventative. Like, I don't want my kids on social media until they're ready to be on social media. I want them to understand that everybody on social media is not there for good. So when you open your doors yourself to that, because there's different levels of cyberbullying, you can't stop yourself from being a meme, but you can definitely stop yourself from people going on your page and messing with you if you don't have a page. And so until you're ready for that, you're ready to talk that shit back, get you right. It'd be like, I wonder what if the mean chicks are talking, I wonder what these bitches are gonna say today. Like, I want you to be able to get back with them.
It's important to know nearly everything is social media now. Like, if you're on YouTube and you have a login account, you comment on the video, other people can comment on it. You can go back and forth. These video games that a lot of these kids play online, they have a chat on the side that you can do. So just to let parents know, it's not don't just think Snapchat. Facebook is for old people now, but if your kid,
Instagram, TikTok, yeah.
all of it.
You remember, Buddy was getting bullied. Buddy was getting bullied on Endgame.
Yeah, he was.
So, I mean, my thing is, I think really the only thing we can do is, I agree, Ferg, you got to wait until they're really ready. But it can happen, like you said, because it's not social media. Like, Sophie is on YouTube every once in a while, right? She has friends on there. She talks to them on there. Just Sophie's on Roblox, and she has folks on Roblox that she plays with. Like, so pretty much everything has an aspect where they can, or potential for them to be bullied. I think the biggest thing that you have to do is really teach your children the self-worth and be open with them. And like you said, Byron, they come to you and have that conversation with you, and make them comfortable enough that they will come to you and have that conversation with you. Because like I said, a lot of them don't have the parent support or whatever. And let them know, if you need me to come up to the school and get crazy, I can, so the kids know that, hey, you're not dealing with just them, you're dealing with this whole family, and all of us can come for you. We don't care. So if that's how we got to do it, that's how we got to do it. But I think we as parents are just going to have to support them through it, because I really don't think there's any stopping it if they are the quirky kid, if they not fit in the norm, if they're not conforming, then there's going to be some type of bullying.
It doesn't take that. All it takes is one moment. All it takes is one moment. What you got for us, Buff? You got a question?
I do. We've addressed a version of this before, but I wanted to frame it a different way and just see if our answers have changed. So Razi will be 40 in 2 months now, in June. So we're pretty much, all three of us are all 40. I remember turning 21. That was a big deal. That was, you were old enough to go to the real liquor store, not just some of the ones we went to in Tomerville.
Yeah, we didn't want to say no names. We didn't want to get them shut down.
You know what I'm saying? But it was a big deal. It was a fun time. I wanted to ask you two brothers, if you could, would you go back to being 21 years old? You're not privileged with the knowledge that you have now. Like, whatever you didn't know at 21, but you know now, you don't get that knowledge if you go back. If you could, would you go back to 21 and get that youth? And is there some things that you would, try to do differently? Why or why not?
So we all frame it as the butterfly effect thing. If I get up minutes later one day, my whole future changes.
Yes.
Nah, man. I love my life. I truly do. I always talk about, and anybody that knows me, I'm very hard on myself, and I think a lot of things it took me a while to graduate college. I had a lot of struggles during that time period, and even getting financially. I always say I was a late bloomer. I'm behind the ball, but if I would have graduated a semester earlier, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have got the job that I got that made me stay in Tallahassee for an extra 2 years. All that stuff worked itself out perfectly. I wouldn't change my kids for the world. Is my life perfect? Oh, hell no. But at the same time, I couldn't imagine it being any different for me. And so I couldn't change it. If I go back for a week and come back and nothing changed, yeah.
But nothing that you would do over it. Like, everything you did, the mistakes and all.
I feel like, because I just feel like it changed. It could have changed anything. I always joke, anybody that knows me, remember Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity Incorporated, follow 1 Upsilon Psi. It's funny, when I say things worked out perfectly, we crossed November 9th. Brothers hate me to this day for this. We were supposed to cross November 2nd. November 2nd, 2001, I was at drill. It was at drill where the Army's like, nigga, get here, we're sending MPs. So we had to stay online a whole nother week just because of me. The reason I bring that up is November 9th, 2008 was our line anniversary, and I was hanging out with my line, but we're looking for something to do just because it was our line anniversary. And we went to a tailgate that the Florida State Bros were hosting, and that's where I met Z. If we would have crossed a week before, there would have been no reason for me to hang out with them. So, like, say just everything happened so perfectly to line up. You know, could life be different? You know, could I have been a doctor by now and be making way more money? Yeah, probably, but it wouldn't have worked out. I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys doing this interview right now.
And you wouldn't have been making much more money as a doctor. Don't act like you don't make doctor money, Ferg.
I don't make I don't
appreciate that, Razi.
Can you edit that out?
World needs to know.
Exactly. No. Ferg, the reason why I say that is, you know, we might have some parents out there that were like my parents. Like, they didn't know that there were other jobs that made money like doctors did. My parents didn't understand that every lawyer didn't make $200,000. They thought every lawyer was like this super high paid lawyer. When I know lawyers that make $30,000 a year. So it's one of those things that I want folks to know that you can make doctor money and not be a doctor.
I don't make doctor money.
Okay.
Yes,
okay, Ferg.
Yes, he does.
But for me, man, I don't think I'd go back, only because you said we don't get to keep our knowledge, right, of the future. So at this point in my life, why would I go back when I can do everything I did in my 20s right now and not be broke the next day? Like, I can afford, like, this is the prime, right? My 30s, like we're getting on 40 now.
Yeah.
And I got a little bit more restrictions, but there's no way at 21 I would have been able to go to Paris. There's no way at 21 I would have been able to go to Hawaii. I'm doing much bigger things and having much more fun than going out every weekend and getting drunk on like low, bottom shelf liquor. Like, I don't drink Taka vodka anymore. So it's one of those things that I can go out and have a really, really good time and not have a hangover in the morning. I can go out and go for a week and not worry about anything. Like, we can do things like, and I really, really enjoy spending time with my family, with my kids and everything. Like, at this point, I would much rather go on a trip with my kids to Great Wolf Lodge or something like that than go to the club and hang out. Like, I really would. Like, I had more fun doing that than when I go out to the club. Granted, it might be a little bit of my PTSD, and I really don't have that going out to the club and enjoy it because of the hypervigilance and all that. But I like doing things with them more than I like going to the club and hanging out and doing the stuff that I did at 21.
It's two sides to that. Because, like, even and I mention my family a lot, but even on that hangout stuff, like, the hangout I could have now, like when we're going to Miami, I went to Miami at 21. We were splitting drinks. We're splitting hotel rooms. Like, we were it's 5-6 deep in a hotel in South Beach. We did that. Now we're staying on South Beach at some luxurious hotel Buff got us in.
Whoa!
I don't even know the name of it.
You did pick that hotel, Buff.
I think Allison did.
You the hotel snob.
No. Allison said we didn't have to stay. Allison was like, y'all don't have to stay here. It's my birthday, so I'm gonna do it this big. And Byron's like, well, you ain't gonna one up me. So Byron did it too, and so now he peer pressured all of us into being there.
Think about where we were at 21, what we were doing. Pretty much we're all staying there. We have a week.
Maybe 2 days, right? Like a weekend. You gotta be quick.
Full of events, that we could not have afforded 20 years ago. And then I think for me, it's the relationships I built since then. I would have way more fun with 20 plus years of friendship with you guys. Like, we're excited about Miami now because it's been something we're talking about for years. We're doing it. You know what I'm saying? We got 25 years plus of friendship that's going to culminate in something like this. I'm going to remember this more than I would some trip we took at 21, because I don't remember trips I took at 21. Exactly. So I don't even remember who all my friends were at 21. I know you guys.
For me, the only bonus about 21 is just like back then I was able to hang out, on a work night. Like I could hang out even though I had to be to work the next morning. I could hang out that previous night and it not be an issue. Now, ask me to hang out on a Thursday and I got to work Friday. Oh, no, sir. Not only that, I can't go home before going out. Like, I live in Northern Virginia. I work in D.C. If I'm going to hang out in D.C., I have to stay in D.C. because if I come home, it's a wrap. And I'm going to take a nap, and that nap going to turn into good night's sleep. But everything y'all said is just accurate, man. It's like you have to make those mistakes growing up when you were 21. You have to make all those mistakes to appreciate what you have now. And like what Razi said, just the things that you're able to afford and do now. And I feel like I know so much more than I did 19 years ago. And it's just cool. Like Ferg, you brought back memories. You said you went like 6 deep to Miami. I remember we went 4 deep to Daytona Beach, man. I think we stayed at what was it, like a Comfort Inns or something like that, dog. Like, listen, it would take some major things happen for me to stay at a Comfort Inn right now. I'm just being completely honest, man. But some of the liquor we used to drink at 21, Christian Brothers and Paul Masson. I had cars back then that didn't always have working AC, and that's not pleasant in Mobile summer heat. So, I'm not going back. Like maybe if you could take the knowledge that we have now and go back, then maybe. My only, and I hate to call it a regret, the only thing that I probably would have tried to do different, but that would have came before 21, is I do wish I had gone to a 4-year college and completed it and really went for it in that way. Sometimes I feel like I miss out on a lot of the experiences that you two guys have and that other people have had that I've spoken to that have gone to college. But
well, I'll tell you, that's living it up, man. I know a lot of people that went to college and they ain't living like you.
Okay, I'm not living it up, but I did all right for an associate's degree. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But that's it, man. Just a little quick question that somebody had made a post about that, and they asked that question. So I just wanted to pose it to you guys, man. That's all I got, though.
Yeah, and I think the people who say yes to that usually are the folks that are generally in the same, I guess, like situation as they were at 21. So it's okay. What, like we talk about still having to go 5 deep to Daytona, or not being able to do things that more than what they were able to do at 21. So now they're like, yeah, I'll go back because I'm doing the exact same thing I was at 21, but I'm more tired, right? I can't go out on the work nights and stuff like that. So yes, I would go back to 21 so that I can go out on work nights and I can go hang out and I can do those things. Whereas we're in a totally different mindset of what we want to do when we go on trips and when we, party and stuff like that. Like how we party is different than how we partied at 21.
Definitely. So that was a good question, Buff. All right, let's go ahead and close it out. Parting shots.
So Razi said I stole his thunder at the beginning of the show. He unknowingly stole mine for the end of the show. And I'm not going to talk about it too long. I just want to say real quick, because you guys have kind of expressed it a little bit. But for those of you that are watching wall-to-wall coverage of the Chauvin trial, that's obviously that's your right to do. I would advise not to. For me, to me, it's kind of like if you ever seen someone that's struggling financially and they get a little money and they just they're very stressed out, so they may go buy a very expensive pair of shoes or something like that just to give them that high. And the moment they spend that money, they make that purchase and they walk out the door, all those problems come back to their mind, and it's like a very temporary fix. Like it didn't solve anything, and you made an impulse purchase trying to make yourself happy, and nothing came of it. With this trial, I just feel like no matter what the outcome is, that's what the feeling is going to be, because a man not only died, but he was tortured for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So if Chauvin is proven guilty on the highest charge that he's charged with, you're going to have that temporary yes, but then it's going to be like, but so many others didn't get justice. At the end of the day, this brother still was killed on TV. His family will never, his kid, you know, I can't even remember does he have kids?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his kids will never, get him back. He'll never be here. And Chauvin really got off easy because all he's doing is going to jail. George Floyd would never be here again. And of course, if he's found not guilty, we don't even want to think about what's going to happen with that. So, watch it, because I did it with the Trayvon Martin, the George Zimmerman trial. And I just remember when that verdict was read, just how defeated and defenseless I felt. And I just want to caution people that are highly invested, because I'm already seeing comments on how painful it is to watch. Don't put yourself through that torture. You don't have to. When the verdict is read, trust me, you will know, you will find out. And watching it is not going to help. You're not going to be able to control the outcome anyway from just watching it. So if you feel yourself like getting highly upset about it, just take a step away from it. And just please, please, please try to remember that you won't get any satisfaction out of this trial, no matter what the verdict is. I just want to say that. And one other thing, I know it seems like so many times we're asking for thoughts and prayers, but once again, tragedy struck my family as we record this on Wednesday. I'm flying down to Mobile. My aunt just passed last week. So rest in peace, Yvonne Welcome. I want to be there and be strong for my cousin, LaShonda Welcome, my other cousin, Bernard. And I experienced this last May. So I know exactly what you guys are going through. So I feel like it's my job to just go down there and be strong for them. So keep them in your prayers. I know what it's like to lose a mother, and they're experiencing that right now. The last time I saw her, it was during my mom's funeral. She was just alive, well, and full of life, and she will be truly missed. And I just wanted to say those words, rest in peace, and please extend those well wishes to my family.
Yeah, most definitely, man. We're here as always. Bro. So, for me, man, all I have is just some updates on the vaccine. We have been pushing it and talking about it. Please go get vaccinated. They just approved the Pfizer vaccine for kids 12 to 16. So, they should be rolling that out, and kids between 12 and 16 should be able to start getting vaccinated. And they started the trial for children under 12. So we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but please, please, please continue to wear your masks and protect, socially distance, because we're seeing an uptick in new cases, because people think that it's over for some reason. And it's not. I mean, it's still a pandemic out here. Please continue to wear your mask. Please continue to socially distance. Please just be responsible and do it for the other people in your life. Even if you've had the vaccine or that, you had it already, that doesn't mean stop wearing a mask just because you can't get it. The thing is, you can still transmit it. It can still be in your breath, in your nose, and still transmit. So please continue to do everything you can. Help us out to get through this thing so that my kids can go play soccer in the fall. Thank you.
All righty. I'll kind of piggyback off of Buff. There's a lot going on in the media. It's a lot of things distracting us. The anti-Asian sentiments, and it's just so much going on. People, protect your minds and your hearts right now, man. Don't get caught up in everything that's going on. You don't have to respond to every post. You don't have to read every post. It's okay to take a break from social media, but not your favorite podcast, Three Brothers No Sense, because we're always going to give you that good. But, protect your minds and your hearts. Every once in a while, you need to back away from the blue page and IG and all that stuff and the media, because it's just a lot going on, like Byron said. I mean, Florida's on its way back up trying to beat Texas for being stupid with the senator. it's just so much. So just people, just protect yourselves. We're coming on for most of us. I think we're approaching a 3-day weekend. Get you some. Hopefully, by the time you hear this, you're relaxed. But please, just protect your minds. Mental health is huge. People are stressed. People are suffering from pandemic fatigue. It's a lot of PTSD. So just don't put yourself in situations you don't have to. So 3 Brothers No Sense. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.
Yeah. Happy Easter.
Y'all got an Easter speech?
Yeah. Jesus wept.
He's also the reason for the season.
I think that's Christmas.
Yes.